for all. Marvel, DC, Trek, and more.
Fire.
Pop culture battles, settle the score. Nerd fights, let's get loud. Nerd fights, yeah, for the geeky crowd. Nerd fights, hey, it's time to throw down. Bring your fandom, it's the hottest showdown. Who's got the takes? Who's got the heat? Mr. Know-It-All and Salty can't be beat. Let's fight!
That means only one thing. It's time to fight.
Beat drops out with the final shot.
Nerd fights.
Let's fight!
Oh my god, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Nerd Fights. It's so funny. I literally woke up 2 minutes ago from a nap. And I said to my wife, I rolled over, I said, we overslept. And I rushed downstairs to get everything all set up, ready to go. What's going on, everybody? How are you tonight?
What, are you talking to me or are you talking to them?
Yeah. Everybody, we do this every week.
Yeah, I know. But
When I say what's going on, everybody, I'm talking to you. But yes, everybody else also.
Well, you know.
Danny's want to watch the SmackDown. What, really? Would you like to be our wrestling correspondent? I love it. Oh my god, I love it so much.
Yeah. So I'm still alive, so there's that much.
I love the fact that Stanley's still pointing out the AI standoff is funny. Salty just with his hands in his pockets, like, who cares? Yeah, that's definitely him. That's Salty style all day.
Okay. Maybe because somebody hasn't fixed it yet, but you know.
No, I definitely have not. I have not had the opportunity to fix that at all. Yeah. So what do you want to talk about? We have a bunch of stuff to talk about today. I watched, got to see Alien Earth. That show was awesome. I'm kind of digging it.
Yeah, okay. I do have a significant issue with episode. Huh?
I know. That's what I was like, okay.
When did we do a
vibrator? Yeah, I don't know. They must have whole conversations when we're not here.
Yeah.
What's up, Kenny?
All right. So Alien Earth. First episode really hooked me. Really liked it. I dug the fact that they did not. I was so worried they were gonna wait until episode 4 or 5 to eventually give us a xenomorph. Dude, first episode you get, and then the whole thing too. Right.
It's crazy.
You get the whole setup basically.
Aliens. With discount Nostromos and crew.
Well, except that it's a science vessel, which is
I know, no, it was, but didn't the everything from the lunch area thing to the big mother control center that you're like, man, did they just steal the sets? What?
Yeah,
it looked just
but that was intentional because that's a Yutani.
Obviously.
Weyland-Yutani ship,
and that's kind of what I was figuring they were. That was the angle they were going with. Is that's a very similar design that they use in all their stuff.
Right. It's just typical Weyland-Yutani.
I didn't realize how big it was until it crashed.
Yeah.
The thing was massive. I don't care what anybody said. I was like, what is that? By the way, let me put that up there too, because we're going to be, just in case, we'll talk about a lot of this stuff. If you haven't watched the shows, go watch them.
So the first episode, the premise of it got me hooked. I like the idea of the kids in robot bodies. I like the
Nostromos off Temu, King Phantom Phoenix Gundam says. I love the fact that it's literally here, we're going to show you all the scenes from the previous movie, but not with the same people. Or from Alien, but with none of the same people.
And Gavin, I disagree. These are not the same sets we saw in Romulus.
But it felt like they were very informed by a lot of the same type of stuff.
Well, Romulus was attempting to create a separate environment in the same universe.
You'll be proud of me. This made me go back and finish Romulus.
Really, you hadn't finished Romulus?
Dude, you don't understand. It's been so difficult. Oh, the face huggers are so prevalent, and I have such.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you're afraid of spiders.
Oh, hang on a second. Come here, you. Come on.
Oh. Well, you got your dog to protect you from the spiders.
That's right. I got my super dog. If you notice, that's right. This is
what
super dogs look like.
I look like a big what on the TV?
Michael looks like, what is that?
I can't tell what emoji that
No, neither can I. What is that emoji? Hang on one second. Let me see. Oh, hang on. It looks like a big lion. You're like a big lion.
Oh, okay. I'll take that. All right.
So
right,
Everywhere the sun touches is your life.
anyway, so we're getting completely sidetracked. So the kids in the
Hold
robot.
on, says the king of complete sidetracking. Jeez.
Can I please finish
I
a
have my cool set.
sentence?
My cool set's over there. I have my cool set. Go on, finish your sentence. I'm sorry.
All right, so kids in robot bodies, cool.
Yes, which I thought was very interesting. I thought
yeah.
I thought that was a neat angle.
Yeah, science spacecraft with all sorts of alien life forms on it, including a xenomorph, but notice there's a lot more than that.
Right.
Like there's those blood bag things, which are creepy as
Okay. Was it not? I'm like, I didn't realize we were going to actually get other scary alien species. That
Right.
blew my mind. I was like, oh, this is neat.
Until you think it's neat until it attaches itself to your neck, and
This also reminded me of an Aliens when they were like, oh, it's a bug hunt. So it made me go, oh, clearly there are other space bugs they've had to face in the past.
right.
So I was like, okay. Also, I'm sorry. What is it with all these sci-fi movies and having the cool skinny white chick with like the weird bangs, like between Tron Legacy and this? I'm like the chick who plays Wendy, the actress who plays Wendy. Like, right on, man.
And I got to say, it's kind of funny because my wife, who, as you know, is black, is the one that called out while we were watching it the conspicuous absence of white people.
Oh my god! I was literally I'm like, so did apparently there are no except for the mom, the mother figure from what's his name, Prodigy.
Right.
She's and of course the Prodigy kid himself, the trillionaire kid. And yes, absolutely, Dork Knight. It is ADHD theater all day. Come on, you know that.
Which and I'm sure I'm surprised Critical Drinker didn't get on it for that because he actually gave it a fairly positive review, at least for episode 1. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but
no, I haven't seen it.
He liked episode 1. He didn't like episode 2, and
Really?
I'm actually on one particular point. I'm with him.
Okay,
100%.
what was that?
In episode 2, there are no less than 4 times in the episode that a trained soldier has their weapon out and could end the alien threat and doesn't.
Okay, so so it's funny. You say trained soldier. I didn't get trained soldier vibes. I got trained rent-a-cop vibes. That's what I got.
These guys were all actual military. They actually went through boot camp.
But man, they all seem like
the Wienery brother somehow got through boot camp. He was yes, he was a medic, but he was a medic in their military, and he was trained because notice he picked up the pulse rifle and knew exactly how to use it. That wasn't even a question. However, even though he, his partner, and 2 other people all had easy shots, they didn't take it.
right.
And we do know from prior movies and stuff that the aliens are not bulletproof.
No, not at all.
And so one of one of those pulse rifles easily could have ended the alien. But instead we got
Dork, I just saw this. The aliens from Pitch Black were pretty terrifying also. Yeah, that's one of Mrs. Know-It-All's favorite movies, and she's a big Vin Diesel fan. And yeah, man, that they are. Those ones in Pitch Black, they are absolutely terrifying.
well, you know why they're scary?
Why?
Because it's all about family.
Anyway.
But anyway,
We also got Claudia Black in that too, and I was right off of my Stargate love for her, so I was like, right on, man.
that's a good. I like Pitch Black, but
Well, that's Stargate love. Sorry, Stargate later, but
SG-1,
Farscape. Yeah, she was in Farscape originally.
Okay. But anyway, so yeah, there's all these times that all of a sudden soldiers have to be insanely incompetent in order for the alien to live.
Stanley says, and it had that Prometheus stupidity of people just sticking their face right up in the alien object. Yeah. My favorite thing is
wait, hold on. Let me address that real quick.
Go for it.
Okay, if you're talking about the weird hanging thing that was obviously from Half-Life,
Isn't that what that looked like?
Yeah.
I was like, what is this?
If you're talking about that thing, I will not give you. I will give them a pass all day because that was the mind of an 8-year-old looking at that thing.
Okay, that's fair. No, but
Okay.
I'm more talking
Now,
about.
the
I'm more
other one
talking
with the
about
with the
yeah.
medic guy looking at the egg,
I mean,
but he
he flat
backed
out
up.
goes like, "What is this?" So I'm
Yeah,
like, "Bro,
but he
your
also
hands are."
backed off the second the egg moved.
Oh, dude, I'd have no offense. I'd have shot it the first time this thing went like, "Oh!" It went all day, done, no more.
Although best line in the episode was from that particular scene where she's like, "Guard the omelet."
That was so funny. Yeah, I was like, "That's the greatest line ever." I was like, "Did I just hear that?" I had to
Which was
repeat it. It
also
was so
right at the
good.
end of the episode. But
Yeah.
but yeah, so aside from the complete and utter incompetence of everybody wielding a pulse rifle,
Yeah.
I did like episode 2, which Critical Drinker just hated it. Like he thought,
Timothy Oliphant was channeling hardcore Rutger Hauer
yeah,
type
I like
energy.
Timothy Oliphant in that a lot.
Yeah.
Because he
I love
was
anything that doesn't have him be the normal cowboy stereotype he's really known well for. I really do love. I really
well,
do.
I like that. Yeah, he was a kind of a different kind of synth,
Yes.
I like that. And although I'm sorry, don't know the guy's name, black guy that was the evil synth,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
he was a more typical synth,
Correct.
right?
Yeah. Same.
Pretty much what we've seen before, but that's perfectly fine given the circumstances because he's a wailing Utani synth, which is what we've seen before.
What kind of weirdness was going on at that like dated 1800s like themed
Oh, I got
party?
total Epstein vibes.
I
From that
know.
part.
I'm like, and can I tell you one of the greatest moments of like I came up originally in any kind of production doing audio, so I'm a big
Right.
theater of the mind fan. When dude gets medic boy Joe gets knocked down, and the alien goes into that apartment,
Yeah.
you hear and know exactly what's going down, and it is brilliantly put like that. And this needs to win an Emmy for audio sound, and it is so perfect. And the fact that like everything dies down in that moment, literally, and you see dude get up, and I'm like, yeah, that silence would have startled me too. I'd have been like, why is this suddenly quiet? It's
Well,
so good.
but again, we get into another problem with it, and this is another thing. Where credit is due, the Critical Drinker did point out is that why did the alien kill everybody?
Bro.
That's not alien MO.
What are you talking about? I thought they always just killed everybody.
No, because they need people to. They have eggs. They need people to take to the eggs.
I don't know if they
And
have
that,
any structure right now. Right now, I think this is just a crazed one.
a crazed alien.
Wow.
Why do you think he's a crazed alien?
Like in the original movie Alien, that thing wasn't trying to like keep them.
Actually, wrong. It's just that the deleted scene is what
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Deleted Scene. I'm going by what was on the screen. So
Have you not seen the deleted scene?
I think I might have, but right now it doesn't matter because again,
Yeah,
I go by what's
where
on the
they had
screen.
Dallas and stuff were
I haven't
still
seen that.
alive and
No.
basically, I mean, yes, the alien killed the one dude with the cat.
Yeah.
I think the alien killed the dude with the cat and and Yaphet, but did not kill the Captain Dallas or the ugly chick,
Right.
and was going to use them to breed more aliens.
Right.
And so,
Right.
but in this one, the alien is just on an absolute murderous rampage until the very end of the episode where it grabs the brother.
Right.
And so it's like, oh, now it's good. Now that it's got a character with plot armor, it's going to not kill him and take him to the hatchery or whatever.
love it.
So there are.
I feel like they're MacGuffining her power, Wendy's abilities a lot. Like 1 second she's touching the screen and taking control of the computer thing. The next second she's like she can't decipher a thing, and I'm like, you know what? I get it that you guys want to try to make, and that's okay. Again, I'm either way. I love the vibe and I love the energy of this thing. I love the lore expansion. Finding out the level to which the corporations run that future society to the point that they are actually like corporation states, I thought was interesting.
Yeah, they're corporate. There are 5 corporate states that run the earth.
Right. And I was like, okay.
And so Weyland Yutani is one of them.
Right.
But this Prodigy Corporation is the one we're focusing on mostly in this movie, and
Right.
that's and also I like the idea, because the very beginning of the first episode kind of sets it up that this is more about the evolution of synths than it is about aliens.
That's what I was thinking too. Or I feel like we're getting this really weird roundabout. I feel like the alien framework is actually just that's the MacGuffin to get us all in to
Right.
see this very Game of Thrones setup that they have going on with all of these people around this table, because they spend a lot of time establishing that down to especially when Boy Genius is having a conversation with Wayland Yutani chick,
Right.
and she's like, well, what if we send people anyway? And he's like, oh, don't go
That would
doing
be
that. We
Utani,
got
by the
Lord.
way. That you're the Wayland Yutani chick. That was Utani.
Oh, is that who that is? That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
Wayland, of course, is dead.
right.
If you consider,
Well, I know, and what's funny, see, that's why I really did dig. It's funny, Romulus. If you get an opportunity, go look through our archives. It's literally we rank. It's the name of the video is very clickbaity. We rank all the xenomorphs. It's a Nerd Fights one, but it's really worth watching where we discuss that whole thing. I do really dig how Romulus connected that tissue, and I feel like this is doing it because if you watch Romulus, they mention an earlier ship vaguely. So I'm pretty sure that this show was in production or at least in the plans because I believe they're implying it's this ship. That's how they knew a little bit more. The other
right.
thing is how, because I read someone online who was like, I want to know how in the world they knew about the aliens. I'm like, dude, how much further back do we got to go? We've been
Well,
to
but now you
Prometheus.
know.
Like how far back do we have to go to fill in those gaps? I feel like we know now. Okay, whether or not, or we really need to see do we really need to see Discount Nostromo's crew
Yeah.
and their origin
Now,
story? Come on.
now Stan Lee's going on about what's the reason given for the original movies. Why? Well, the original in the original Alien movie, they simply mentioned, okay, so that this is like a perfect organism, and that it would be incredibly valuable for biological weapons.
They didn't imply that they had known until like the very end.
Well,
That's really when they
we knew
implied.
that there was an order in place that bringing the specimen back was more important than anything else, including
Right.
the lives of the crew.
Yep.
Um,
They've
so
known since Alien versus Predator. I hate
you know
you.
what? I don't
That's
believe
not.
that movie
Yeah,
is canon.
we are that. I believe we're going to eventually see a cool version of that, especially when you get the likes of Badlands, and now you have this. I feel like they're really establishing some really great, very relevant lore that needs to eventually come to a head with some good quality behind it.
Speaking of Badlands, did you see Killer of Killers?
Yes,
Okay, so
I
yeah,
liked Killer of Killers.
yeah. So
For
I
people
think
out there who want to bust its chops, I liked it.
no, I liked it. I'm saying, so do you think that they're trying to build up to an Alien Predator universe?
Whether yes, whether it's a movie or a series or live action or animated, I don't know, but I feel like they're doing so much really great lore expansion that makes, and the thing is both franchises are in the middle of lore expansion at the same time, so it feels very relevant to today.
Right.
I feel like
So
everything that they can do, they being Disney can do, Disney/Hulu can do, they're doing their
Hulu's
best.
gone. You didn't know that?
Well, I know, but Disney, those properties, what that was out there, because it's still under this FX is still
Yeah,
running.
it's a
Hulu.
Fox property, but,
Right.
you know.
So I don't know.
But now, Stan,
Isn't hold on? He said, isn't the Nostromo's currently out in space? Yeah, it's 2 years out before the first movie.
it's only 2 years. I don't remember what the
Yep. It's only 2 years.
So yeah, so the Nostromo, and which would make sense because I think what's going to happen is this particular xenomorph is going to die.
Yeah.
And they're going to say, "Man, if only we could have captured it alive." And that's
That's
why.
that's exactly what I think. We're gonna get to a place where they're like. So what I said in my thoughts, and actually I was also on an audio. The audio podcast isn't coming out for until next week, but Zero to Heroes, we talked about that too, and I said the same thing. I said we're going to get to a place where this is going to be the failure that inspires them to be like, we have to figure out blah 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 blah. And they're like, well, we have this one cleanup crew who's on a similar trajectory, we can wake them up early, send their synth and some instructions, and redirect them, and that'll end up. I believe this is going to Andor us, and in that we're going to butt up right to what will be of the events that caused the first Alien movie. That's what I believe.
I wouldn't compare it to Andor because Andor ruined the lore of Star Wars.
You know what? Shut up. My point is, though, what they were trying to do. Don't be an ass right now. Right now, I'm using it as a connective tissue. Andor butts right up to Rogue One, and eventually Rogue One butts right up to
Rogue One is the one that I would say this is
fine. But that's the point, though, is that I think they're going to take us right to the doorstep of the orders or something. If they don't flat out do something creatively CG and have us do a slow pan through of the cryo room of the Nostromos, and then move right up to one of those green screens, and you see, or those little, like, and you get to see like beep, 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 new instructions, order, blah blah blah, wake up everybody. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we're gonna get to something like that.
They wouldn't even need to do anything CG. They could just use some of the long, slow shots.
It's so true. No, totally, you're right. Or use some of the shots they never used.
Yeah. So yeah, there's
great.
Plenty of footage.
That would be so cool. Getting a Sigourney Weaver in cryostasis from the 80s. Oh, let's go.
70s.
Yeah. Sorry, 70s. You're right.
But yeah, I
we'll
think
have better. Here we stand. Yeah, we'll have better luck with this crew bringing one back.
Yeah. We couldn't do it with the trained scientists. We'll see if the truck drivers.
Yeah, we'll see if these guys can do it. Oh, I love it so much. Yeah. Calkite. Yeah, totally. It's Calkite all day.
Yeah.
FX Predator series was good. Yeah, it was good. It is good. Yeah, the whole thing, everything.
What Predator series?
I'm loving this
Predator series.
Yeah, that I'm assuming they mean the animated one or whatever that came out briefly.
Oh, okay. Well, it's an anthology, but it's a movie.
It's an anthology that all happens to wrap up together to the very, very end.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, there's 3.
Did you hear about the digital alterations? They made it so at the very end you also see now. If you go watch it now on they made it so that you actually see what's his name's character from Dutch's character, whatever, from the first Predator movie, and then you see.
Oh no! They changed it since its initial release.
Yes.
Okay. No.
Remember how it pans by both those guys, and then you get to see the Indian girl from the native chick from just Prey.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so wait a minute, so nobody wins? Everybody just gets turned into this?
Think about how powerful these guys are, really.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
Robert Rose said, I knew Sigourney Weaver doesn't want to return to the role of Ripley. It would be nice to get a sequel to Alien Resurrection to find out what happened to the Earth, how Walmart was able to take over. For real.
Well, that's the problem, is that Walmart took over. And so
Walmart Yutani, good job, Phoenix.
Yeah. No, it's actually the new corporation, I think, will be Timu Yutani.
Yeah, I love it because the technology is so weird. It's like spaceships, but still CRT. Well, and so that's another thing I was going to talk about this show. I love the fact that they kept that aesthetic, but still managed to make things look advanced, grungy. It gave me Blade Runner vibes.
Well, I would say
what they were setting up.
I know that this is what some of the Trekkies have been saying they should have done with, like, Discovery and Strange New Worlds, right? In that they should have recreated the original series. The problem there,
or just found a better way to make it, like, fit it the way, just, you know what I mean? Like, make the world more updated without necessarily.
Right. Well, like, you wouldn't be in paper mache sets when you go down to the planets and stuff like that. But the problem that I see with that is that when you're talking about the bridge of the Enterprise on Star Trek, as cool as it was,
I love how you stay on brand. I love that.
Yeah, and I do love Star Trek, and I do love the original series. You know that.
Oh, totally.
I can watch the original series all day, every day. But being realistic about it, that set, especially if you watch the HD version, you can literally see the creases. You can
even see when they do a lot of the set, even though the set shake was mostly in camera, when people like fly across the room and bump into something, you can see parts of the wall.
One of my favorites is that there's an episode where they get hit by something and, like, they all go, how sometimes they all go flying out of their chairs, right?
Phoenix says, I said, don't Strange New World up this show. No touch screens on the Nostromos.
Yeah. So
okay,
but they sometimes go flying out of their chairs.
Yeah.
There's one episode, I wish I knew which one it was because I'd show it to you, but when they do that, you see Sulu and Chekhov's console wobble.
Move it.
So,
You're like, well, that's how violently they were shoved.
Yeah.
You know, I bet. That's great. The Vulcan captain looked like she needed to partake in some time with no one of those pleasure devices Ortega's referenced.
Okay, so now that's the vibrator thing they mentioned earlier.
Okay,
So
okay,
I guess we're going
okay.
into Strange New Worlds.
Are we gonna shift over to Strange New
I
World?
guess so.
So let's watch this. Okay, so let's talk about the backdoor pilot for the new Kirk centric and let's Star Trek
for year one, basically, if they do that.
I thought that was so funny. I did. What are your initial reactions before we get into all the deep lore stuff? Just what's your initial take
on Strange New Worlds episode 4?
Yeah,
or 5.
Was it 5? It was 5.
5. I thought it was the strongest episode of the season. I really, and this season so far has not had a bad episode. Last week's was the weakest, but I don't think that they've had a bad episode.
Okay.
Like I would say, right now they're running like they were in season 1. Season 1, I think there was not a bad episode in the entire season. Season 2 had a couple of clunkers, but this season so far they are hitting on all cylinders. And this one in particular, this was the Captain Kirk origin story.
It really was, and apparently I didn't realize there is lore about some event like this in his history. Some event that not obviously in the fullness of what it was, but I guess they expand, because I read a couple articles where they were talking about the episode with the writer, and he said there is like talk of one of Kirk's major first events, and it has to do with having to assume command. There was an unknown enemy or whatever, and I was like, huh, okay.
Are you talking lore from a book, or are you talking about, because obviously I don't remember it from any screen thing? You know?
No, it's lore from a book. That's very and that now they're starting to really bridge into that realm, bringing things from the original. Go ahead.
Well, one thing I would like to see, and as I know this is technically kind of a reboot, but it's not, and all that crap. But I would like to see a flashback this season or next season of Wesley's Kirk during the Obsession Cloud incident on the Farragut that killed the original captain.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Or at the very least, we might see because the Enterprise seems to always be saving the Farragut's butt. So I could totally see some like version of that where we get to see the aftermath.
Right.
It reminded me of an episode of Discovery where the enemy from the Titan took off his helmet and was just a human. Yeah, I guess I could see that.
No, as far as the big reveal at the end that the bad guys were humans all along, I kind of like that.
I loved Pike's, like when Pike says to Kirk, when he's like, maybe that's the real lesson we have to, is empathy.
Yeah, they're not all just bug-eyed aliens,
right? They're not so different from us. And I felt like I've recently been watching some old episodes, and I'm like, yeah, even though people were like, Kirk was a man of action and this and that, and only Picard ever talked about stuff, there was plenty of times where Kirk was like, hang on, this is how people, like, he would evaluate things real tight about the character of the people they're dealing with.
Right.
And I'm like, this felt very, the minute you said it, I was like, yeah, that's it. It was Kirk's origin. Like, we got the origin story of why he makes decisions and choices the way he does, where that comes from. Mm-hmm. I had one person in my comments go, yeah, but where's the Kirk who cheated on the Kobayashi Maru and blah, blah, blah. And I said, bro, he's still here. These are just more of those events that molded him. Right. People don't come out of the womb ready to go and be the character you loved.
Right. This Kirk is a little too cocky.
Right.
But that's why he's just a commander right now.
And this was a wonderful lesson. He has to live with his choices, that they didn't know any better. They were just fighting nameless bad guy scavenger people, only to find out, no, man, it's deeper than that.
And these people were a deep part of history. They were the first deep space exploration.
I was so scared it was going to be some rip of the Doomsday Machine. I was like, oh, don't do it. Please don't do it. When they were like, it's been shot by a beam from that. I was like, please don't show me a cone. Please don't show me a cone. And it's like, don't do it.
But now, doesn't that kind of make you want to see an updated Doomsday Machine?
Oh my God, all day. All day. Penny says, as soon as Kirk said he would be accepting drinks, I knew something was going to happen. No, for real. Stanley said the Federation has been around for a while, and these scavengers just never tried to make contact. No, clearly. Why do you, dude? Watch the episodes. You know what we're talking about. They literally talked about those things stay in lore. They're on the edges. Every race that's at the edge of known space has their rumor, myth, or whatever about it. You know.
Well, and the interesting thing is they're very much like what we saw in Lower Decks of the Packlets.
Yes.
In that none of their, even though it seemed like their technology was super advanced, it really wasn't. It's just that they had technology from every species.
Stanley, welcome to the conversation. If you watch old Star Trek, many episodes end this way. We don't know why. As fans, we're just supposed to conjecture and invent and come up with cool reasons that make sense, because I loved how they wrapped this up.
Well, keep in mind, these guys they really thought that they were the last humans.
Right.
And
never, but then remember what Pike said, and he meant it. It was real. They did see when because I thought it was such an odd thing for his face mask to get ripped off. And I'm like, well, clearly now this guy saw him. Whatever that thing is, saw what was under their mask and should have made some kind of connection. They're like us. And maybe that's why he didn't kill him.
Exactly, because Pike said, why didn't he kill me?
Right.
So that would make sense that would be why they hesitated. But
Jim, you need to learn empathy. So when you kick the crap out of my Tuvix girlfriend on some random desert planet, you won't kill her.
Well, that does happen.
If she shows up and like, how do you like my new dress? I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. And they're like, well, this is the episode.
Yeah. It's gonna happen. You just wait.
Totally is. Dude, no offense to as much as I love the show, these writers aren't that original. I totally could see that happening. You don't understand.
Right.
Like I'm willing to be like, we saw it coming. Okay.
And yes, they are kind of like the Reavers and Firefly, but
yeah, they are.
But the Reavers and Firefly are diseased, maniacal, zombie type creatures.
Yeah.
As opposed to these guys have their cognitive ability, but they've
to come up with everything. Dude, they've jury rigged everything together. This giant garbage ship.
And the giant garbage ship, by the way, is scary as F.
Bro,
they finally had a good alien design that was new.
Dude, this felt so original Trek in terms of just something crazy, fantastic.
You know what it looked like to me, though?
What?
Brainiac.
I was thinking the same, especially with all the little tentacle arms and stuff coming out. Yeah, and the monster face could have easily been a skull. Yeah, totally.
But yeah, so but if you look at the
yeah, I think Stan, I think they did just go crazy. Maybe go crazy with time.
I don't think
remember they had no warp when they went out.
Right.
So who knows how it started for them. Survival becomes whatever, and next thing you know, their lore for that many years would have become.
How many people was it that was on the mission?
I thought it was 13.
13. So 13 people become at least 7,000.
Yeah.
There's a lot of inbreeding going on there.
True.
And
even possibly some breeding with very humanoid species.
Right, but except that the readings all came up just human. They didn't say like human with traces.
Right. Not like half something or yeah. You're
right. But so you had 13 people that, and by the way, do you happen to have the episode handy?
Yeah, I do.
Let
me load it up.
I want to see the picture of the team.
Oh, okay. Hang on one second. Give me a second. My drive was sleeping, so now it has to wake.
But yeah, as soon as we saw that American flag on the hull, I was like, oh,
dude, yeah. The minute they zoomed in, I was like, oh, and then okay, what do you think of Pelia's old ass? She's all like, I was there, I saw the whole thing. I'm like, what? Yeah.
Well, it makes sense. She would have been.
That's so crazy. And the fact that, what do you think about the fact that now that apparently we have now officially?
I think Pelia just needs to be called Not Guinan from now on.
Or even White Guinan.
Yeah, she's White Guinan.
I love it. I love the fact that her room is like this very specifically dated thing.
Well, remember, she scavenges stuff,
right?
And much of it illegally.
Hang on one second. Here. No! Don't you dare!
Yeah, don't get us in trouble now.
All right, we go to the picture at the end.
Yeah.
It's toward the end. Right. Hold on. I like the phone thing. Everybody gave that crap. I thought that was fine. Not to mention, if she's a chief engineer with 5,000 years of experience, she knows what wires to tap into and whatnot and nonsense. So stupid. Oh, there it is. Hold on.
Can we get a picture?
Yeah. It's just the actual shot itself. Hang on. Let me find it. Come on. What are you doing, fools? Where's she at? Oh, there it was.
All right. So let's look at that
with their red dong symbols on their chests.
Yeah. Well, so the red dongs. Looking at this image now, granted, how many do we see here?
That's such a weird Mysterious Pelia is Latka's wife from Taxi. Okay, that's a pull and a reference, bro. You're first off, you're right. Stop being stupid. But yeah,
okay.
That's great.
So we can see 7 of them clearly in this shot. And looking at this shot, I would say 2, maybe 3 are female.
Which I'm shocked by.
Yeah, I'm not sure on the one. If
very very far, I see it.
Yeah, the one on the far left with her hand up. I'm not 100% sure if that one's male or female, but the one 2 over from her is an Asian woman, and the one on the other end extreme looks like a white woman.
Yeah.
So let's
get. Hey, where the white women at?
Yeah. So let's just say 3. So 3 of them are women.
Sure.
Now this is half the crew, which means it's actually slightly more than half the crew. Yeah. Which means there's somewhere around 5 or 6 women. Now, I'm just playing pure.
What's straight genetic numbers? How does that work?
Well, that means that basically there's only a potential. I mean, if assuming the guys don't breed with every woman,
which would be foolish.
if the guys
it's not straight survival, that would have to.
Well, not necessarily though. So because one guy could impregnate all of them. That's the thing. So
clearly it must have been Mr. Goatee over there. Sorry.
Right. But let's just assume for the benefit of the doubt that the 5 women pair up with 5 of the guys, and then the other oddball ones just get to
rotate out.
They're gay or something, because I'm sure at least a couple of them are gay. So
whatever. When it comes to survival of the species, nobody's gay.
I'm just saying, this is modern Trek, so at least a couple of them have got to be gay.
No, for real. The USS incest.
Right. That's the problem. So within
that'll be what gets us demonetized right there.
Yeah, within a couple of generations.
Yeah, it's rough.
Within actually 1 generation, incest becomes necessary for survival.
Sure.
And so
1 out of 10 of them, Arabic said. Arabic's right.
Yeah. So I think
my God, that's awesome.
So I think that you'll have a problem with inbreeding over the course of the generations. But I also think these guys went out thinking that they were going to be the sole survivors of Earth, and then their descendants believed that they were the sole survivors, and then their descendants, going down a few generations, they may not remember anything about Earth or remember anything about,
or they would just remember the stories they were told about some place.
Yeah, that wherever they're from, it was destroyed, and they're the only ones left.
Because I could easily see the telephone game where we survived a war, we barely survived, we didn't we're the only ones who survived. That's not many generation difference from having to come up with that distinction, Could they do Stanley, could they do medical stuff to alter the embryos?
They possibly. Well, except that the problem is that, I mean, now we're talking about, if I remember correctly, this is early 22nd century or late 21st century that they're that these guys. No, it was before First Contact, so it's 21st century. And so, because First Contact is just like a decade or so away from now, so a couple of decades.
Well, remember they said that was before it was a pre.
Yeah. So this is 21st century tech. Now they might be able to alter the embryos a little bit, but you can't add new genetic information.
Well, remember they just came out of World War III, so somebody in whatever prequel series this could possibly be, somebody would have done some sort of, and they would have had a long 2 or 3 episode arc talking about how in the world that they
Star
were going.
Trek Red Boner. That'll be the name of the show.
No, legit, it looks like that's exactly what that looks like. I love it.
Yeah. So these guys, they should have just put them in Space Force.
They should have. That's awesome. They should have.
Since they went through the trouble of making them Americans specifically.
No, they were. That was no. Remember what she said? One of the last remaining nations.
I mean, look at the second one from the left has an American flag on his shoulder.
I know, but not all of them do. Not all of them do. We may have just led the charge, which is what I would more expect. But remember, she said they scoured the earth for a crew.
Right.
So they would have got people from all kinds of different.
Right. But the ship was American. It was American.
It's right.
Yeah. It was the third generation Donald Trump clone that was running.
No, totally.
So there's which of course ended up colonizing a planet, which later became the planet from the Apple, where they're all Trump supporters.
You're a jerk. Oh my god, I love it so much.
You know that
ISIS does ISS rather have a ISIS? Does the ISS have a U.S. flag on it? I think it does actually. Or at least a part of it. Yeah, the ISS, the space station, International Space Station.
Oh, I don't know if it does or not. On the exterior?
Even though the occupants are international. Yeah, but international, we put that nonsense up there. International. Get out of my face. Yeah. Got your international.
We call it international to make them feel good about that.
That's like the UN is in New York. Okay. I mean, mind you, yeah, they've got their own place now in like wherever, Geneva or wherever, but it's like, come on. Let's be real.
Yeah. So, so the American inbreds end up becoming the 7,000 people. But another thing, though, and it was a very Kirk-esque moment where as soon as Spock reports the life signs floating around, the first thing Kirk thinks of is beaming them aboard, despite what they just went through.
Fair. That's true.
That was a very Kirk moment, but they couldn't because they didn't have the transporters working.
Yeah.
And that's
What did you think of Scotty's flip? How Kirk walks out and he says, "Hey, I'm still going to take care of everybody." Blah blah blah. And then it's like, you think it was a good flip or no?
Oh, when he was like, "I needed to hear that."
Yeah.
I think so because I think Scotty is. Keep in mind that Scotty, we don't get a whole lot of character stuff for Scotty in the original series.
No, I don't.
But he's always down there in engineering, doing his own thing and cussing in Gaelic whenever he's told to do something that is impossible, right? That's kind of his whole thing. And okay.
I wasn't sure if you recognize this reference. I don't recognize it.
Hotel Royals in a TNG episode.
Oh, right. Oh, right. Okay. Okay.
But yeah, obviously one of those one of the extra stars is for Canada because they're going to be the beautiful 51st state, right? And then
I don't know, man. Right now they got. I hear more. I'm telling you, I hear more. Not that we're not talking about politics, but I hear more rumbling about them having to deal with some sort of a civil war than most of the when I keep reading stuff about it.
I'm just saying
and those people from Alberta are rabid about seceding, and I'm like, y'all just stop it. Stop trying to take any opportunity. I'm learning more and more about Alberta, and I'm like, y'all cut it out.
51st state is Canada, 52nd state is Mexico.
There you go.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Puerto Rico.
Everybody from New Mexico is like, you better call it Old Mexico.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they'll have to rename it. They'll call it, Mexican land.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Anyway. Oh my god.
And then we'll rename Canada to Canuckistan.
Canuckistan. No. Oh my gosh, that's great.
We forgot about
so
Greenland.
uh,
So they don't have enough stars then because there's that'll be a state as well. So
my whole thing watching this episode was, so was that so hard not to have Spock fawning over someone for one episode? Did it kill you? Because I enjoyed it.
right.
Just seeing everybody. Tell me you didn't love. Spock walks in with a head of steam, like, all right, listen, you got to go out here and do a thing you're supposed to do. Kirk starts talking to him, and to see him kind of do that shift, to me, that shift was like, I have to take a different tactic right now. I have to try to be different for him and try to help give him what. And he was really, he was to me the Spock we see often in the old show, giving Kirk sage wisdom advice,
Right.
even whether or not Kirk knows it or not. And then I love when Kirk's like, you know what? If you insist, I was like, right on, bro, right on.
I like the fact that there's a I can't remember exactly what the line was, but you knew the line was that would be logical, and then he stopped and caught himself and said that would make sense.
Yeah.
You know?
I loved
So,
it. I loved it.
um,
I thought it was good, man.
Puerto Rico. The problem with Puerto Rico is it'll be the victim of unauthorized nuclear weapons testing, and
Whatever. I'm Puerto Rican, and I've long since said they should stop this nonsense and just hurry up and tighten up the estate. Like seriously, just stop being stupid.
oh, just make you know what? Here's what we do. Puerto Rico's already a mess. So we bring all the Puerto Ricans into the United States. We'll put them in California; they won't mind. And then
They're already in Orlando and New York. What are you talking
yeah,
about?
I'm just saying. And then we'll make Puerto Rico the nation's landfill.
Wow.
And so that's what we should do. We need to make a centralized landfill for all the garbage and just not have to worry about it anymore.
Then start the movies about the evolution of garbage into sentience. Something stupid like that. Anyway. But overall, what are your so again, I like this episode.
Yes, I thought it was the best episode of this season so far.
Good.
I loved, there's some great visual effects scenes. Loved seeing the Enterprise playing interference.
My concern now that I have with a Star Trek Year One, now that I have, so let's shift over to have that conversation. My only major concern at the moment is having seen this episode. I feel like Year One would be nothing but this kind of thing where everyone is getting their final push to being the thing they're going to be.
Right.
The idea would be to really frame them all to eventually be those characters, and probably even not even give us full day one the whole crew. Like we'd get Sulu in that series season one. We'd get Bones in that series season one.
Right.
Like little by little, they would finally finish everything up there.
I could see something like that, but the thing is that I would if I had control of the Trek franchise, I would basically make Star Trek Year One, if that's what they want to call it. I think that's a dumb name, but whatever.
No, I understand.
Because what do you do in season two? I mean, you're gonna rename the show Year Two, but
or dude, there's a lot of things. Dude, everyone likes a lot of event. You can that's 365 episodes you can have in 1 year.
That not necessarily, because some episodes take place over the course of months.
See, they wouldn't do that.
Paradise Syndrome takes place over the course of over 2 months.
It's true.
So, but I would just call it Star Trek, and say, yes, this is the reboot.
Just almost like Gunn did with Superman. Just Superman.
Yeah, it's
same thing with just Star Trek.
It's just Star Trek, and this is.
I would love that.
Yeah, this is just the new Star Trek. And so then we'd have to say
everywhere right now there are old school fans who are like, you betrayed us. No, dude, I'm with you. I think that would be it would be wonderful. It'd be wonderful.
Yeah. And I wouldn't call it phase 2, Aravic, because it's not phase 2. If anything, it's phase 1. Because
that too.
Huh?
Star Trek First Phase or Star Trek Phase 1 or
I would just call it Star Trek. Just go. The simplest solution is usually the best, and I would say we call it Star Trek, and you have the executives finally say, yes, this is a reboot, and that way they can actually do things like bring in the Doomsday Machine and have a different kind of scenario play out or whatever.
or at the very least, just give us, like they've done, sort of this reimagining of those events.
Right.
You know, and I'm okay with that, and not, it doesn't have to be that crazy different. And in fact, some of it is like, I love the fact that even though they're not always using the original music, they give you original music vibes. They're always,
especially with Kirk. You notice, like,
dude,
when Kirk sat in the captain's chair and you just heard that little hint, almost like the original theme.
Yeah, man. But also, like, I love those when whenever Spock is really like shocked about something, and you get those big horn stabs, like before what would be before the commercial break. And I'm like, oh, that's great. Like, I love when they go, to me, that's fan service of the best kind. I love it. It's calling back to fun things.
I don't think you would eliminate TOS, but I think that you would officially, if I were running Paramount, I would just officially rename TOS as Star Trek: The Original Series. That would be its title.
Wow.
And then,
isn't it kind of like that already? I think
everybody calls it that anyway. Everybody calls it TOS.
Well, when you look it up on Paramount, it is listed as Star Trek: The Original Series.
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean, that's I agree with you. And now and then this would just be Star Trek.
Right.
This wouldn't be Star Trek: Original Series, Next Generation. It would just be Star Trek. And I'm like, okay, I'm here for it.
You could write out the space hippies and Spock's brain. No, you bring them in. You just do it right.
Yeah, for real.
You know, honestly, some of those episodes, like Spock's brain, has some really interesting concepts. The idea of
they do.
Of taking a humanoid brain and using it as a controlling mechanism for a colony like that is actually kind of interesting.
Bro, half the stuff they do. See, later on, TNG had to reinvent the wheel with Data, which I thought was stupid. Mm-hmm. There's so much brilliant groundwork the original series did with things like androids and synthetic,
Roger Corby.
And I would just jump, like, grab those and say, now expand on this lore, this idea. There's very interesting notes and beats that I'm like, were never fully explored before TNG had to go and reinvent the wheel and give us the technobabble version of what makes Data Data. Right. I'm sorry, Harry Mudd's world with the android women didn't care too much about explaining a whole lot that was crazy deep. You just understood and went with the thing. So I'm like, there's tons. We had androids a long time ago. They just weren't Data style. Right. There's nothing wrong with that. I think it's brilliant.
Well, and the only real difference between, I think, the Mudd droids and Data,
you could write out the space hippies and Spock's brain.
Yeah. No, but I'm all for getting rid of "And the Children Shall Lead." That episode.
Oh, you don't like it? I love that episode.
I hate you.
I don't love it but I'm just like, that's one of the ones I remember, like from when I used to watch the reruns and stuff on TV. I remember that episode.
And Phoenix, the reason TOS was such high concept is simple. It was written by sci-fi writers.
Yeah, and by the way, there's nothing wrong. Like, I would almost say you almost need to go that approach. Right. What you do is you get a whole bunch of well-established, and I'm not talking like the big name sci-fi writers, but the people who are in doing the work. And you sit here and you say, hey, pitch us episodes. Right. Give us treatments, and then we write them based on those stories.
Robert Bloch was one of the greatest writers of that day. And he wrote 2 episodes of the original series. Now, this is the guy that wrote Psycho. It's an Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. And then he writes Wolf in the Fold, which,
Mudd's robots weren't sentient. Data's was a real boy.
Don't get me started on that. Data is not sentient. Data is a toaster.
Are you one of those?
Oh, I'm totally Dr. Pulaski.
Really? Or even in that one trial where they were trying to make Data like Starfleet property?
Yeah, I think Data is Starfleet property.
Oh, that's awful. When he went to school? I always thought going to school was the worst contrivance ever. I was like, so wait, why did the computer go to school? I don't understand.
Why did they admit him in the first place? That doesn't make any sense.
New life, man. New life.
But I'm just saying, at that point, like, I would say that if I were a Picard in the trial and Measure of a Man, I'd be like, if he's not a person, why was he allowed to enroll in the academy?
Welcome. Are you of the way? Landru wants to meet you.
Yeah. But no, think
You
about
made me watch those. Those are brilliant, like brilliantly in what they were like.
In fact, like everybody talks about how cool the Borg were. Have you noticed that when Landru summons the body, that's the frickin' collective?
Oh, it's so true. I agree. I
You know,
agree. That's like early version. That's like version point something, like the beta version of the
right.
original conscious or
You look
collective.
at and you look at other like Operation Annihilate, the brain parasites. You
Sure.
look at the immunity syndrome with the amoeba that's 11,000 miles across.
Yeah.
All the Star Trek, the original
Hold on.
series.
Here we go. Salty is pro synthetic slavery confirmed.
I am.
Breaking news.
You know what? I believe that this is my personal property and I can do anything I want to it, including destroy it or anything else, and it is not a crime.
But I have feelings, Salty. I feel things.
Yeah. Yeah, even though it has like its little AI thing and can talk to you and all that crap. I don't care. It's not a living thing.
No more Sung family members. No, definitely none of that.
Yeah, I do not want to see Brent Spiner. He needs
As
to be
anybody
banned
else, I'm good.
Paramount a lot. That's
totally.
But yeah, I think that I absolutely am on pro toaster.
Dude, I'll sumo wrestle for $1 million. Let's go. I'll put on the little tidy belt thingy. Let's go.
You know what? I was going to sumo wrestler for $1 million. I'd sumo wrestle for $1 million.
I'll do it, man. Come on.
I'll sumo wrestle with Mr. Know-It-All for $1 million. I'll even do it butt naked. I'll do. It's just
dang. Well, you're practically naked in that stupid diaper thing.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, why not?
There's several clues in Knight Rider. There's several clues in Knight Rider that Kit was sentient, though. That's what Robert Rose Jr. says.
No, there's no such thing as a sentient computer. It does not exist. It cannot exist. I do not believe it is possible. You could make a computer that emulates human thinking to a certain extent, just like we can with AI today. However, you cannot create consciousness. For that, even if you want to take it from an atheistic standpoint, a CPU is nothing like the neurons of the brain. Nothing like it. And computers don't form complex thoughts. They process data.
Aravic, I would argue the toaster oven ones are not. I think that the ones that are humanoid based or whatever, that liquid metallic, whatever the stuff is that makes them humanoid like, I think they would be.
Actually, they're just synthetic life forms. So it's but I do not believe that they are sentient. As far as from a philosophical perspective, I think that even though they actually managed to somehow mate with one person, whatever, and so technically humanity in their lore is half Cylon, but yeah, I don't think. Well, in fact, what you could argue is that at best the skin job Cylons are just clones.
That's actually where I would have gone with that too. I always thought they were kind of alone because they're not immortal,
right? But yeah, and
they're immortal as long as their clone ship is nearby.
See, the interesting thing about Cylon technology that's very different than anything we see in Star Trek, and in fact, pretty much different than anything I think we've seen anywhere.
Sure,
is that if you go inside, and I'm talking specifically about the Ronald D. Moore Cylons, not about the original series Cylons, because very different animals. But if you look at it, every Cylon that we've seen inside their metallic structure is organic tissue. So like the Cylon Raiders, remember when Starbuck climbed inside?
I love this discussion.
Well, no, you see, that's where I'm saying I'm modifying my position a little bit here. If they are clones, it's possible they're sentient. And in fact, you could argue that something like the Cylon Raiders, the ships, are simply they could be human clones where their genetic makeup has been modified to where they're basically skinless masses of muscle and sinew that they can then install into a machine. So
Yeah, we learned that, and we saw that with Starbuck when that one
Right.
episode. Right.
Yeah,
When
when
she
Starbuck gutted one out, and in order
and
to
literally there, it's just. Yeah, I mean, I
yeah,
get that. I get that.
yeah. So you could argue that at least the Raiders and the Skin Job Cylons, it's possible that they are.
I don't believe Skynet was sentient though. I believe Skynet was. I believe Skynet was a recursive loop of logic. It in order to properly do it wants to best serve and do whatever, it has to remove mankind, which is the biggest obstacle to whatever its goals
Right.
were.
Well, it's like what was the argument, the philosophical argument is that if you tell an AI that it has to make as many paper clips as possible, it would eventually destroy humanity.
We've talked about that before. Yeah,
Have we talked about that? I don't know if we have.
I don't know deeply, but I've heard you and I have had briefly
But
that.
yeah, but the argument goes basically because if you tell AI that it has to make paper clips, and remember, AI is not a conscious thinking entity, so it's not. If you say, "Oh, it doesn't even consider the safety of humanity or whatever," it doesn't consider anything. The only thing it considers is what you tell it to consider.
Right, which is what like there's people who are like all these AI programs, like there's AI programs right now that are trying to fight you from stopping them. That's because you gave them the program of completing a task, and then you tell them we're going to replace you. Well, that won't let me finish my task,
Right.
so I need to figure out ways to get to my finishing my task. It's literally their computer. It's computer logic.
Right. So if you had computers sophisticated enough, like Skynet, Skynet for whatever we don't know all the core programming of Skynet, but Skynet is kind of an interesting thing because it's one of those what do they call it in Star Trek, a predestination paradox, because Skynet was created by a chip from the future that was from Skynet.
Yes,
and so because if it wasn't the original Terminator,
right,
its CPU is what inspired the CPU for Skynet.
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah, and so. But all that being said, if it's just a very sophisticated program, and you say, okay, it's a defense program designed to protect the United States from any form of attack, well, it would say, if I'm going to protect against any form of attack, the best way to do that is to eliminate anybody that can attack, and that would be every human.
Correct.
So, and I get
Skin Job. Wow, easy with the language.
Yeah. See, I use that term intentionally for.
Hold on. Have you heard the new ones? Have you heard apparently they have actual like AI slurs now.
AI slurs.
Yeah, like people like to what you want to call AI machine things or whatever else. And but I heard that I was like, "Are you serious? This is so petty." I go, "Really? Let's."
I'll call you bits.
Yeah, totally. I'm like, what the heck, man? What's going on? Yeah, Clanker or something. I think Clanker is the one I actually recently heard.
Clanker I think that was used in the Terminator franchise.
Well, they're apparently it's one that's being like appropriated for
no, that was used that was used in the Clone Wars to describe the battle droids. That's
is Lord Dredd from Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future still fully sentient?
I don't even know what that
is. I do because I used to have Captain Power was that original. I don't know if you remember it all. You could get a gun and interact with your TV because he had his Captain Power. That was one of the. It was that one, and there was another show that lets you buy the video and you can interact. It was very interactive television. It was crazy, and had a little sensor that came on your thing. It's whatever.
But yeah, so I do not believe.
Yeah, no. Clanker nowadays is the robot N-word. First off, the N-word wasn't even the N-word. So let's be serious, okay? The N-word was a combination of not being able to with a bunch of rednecky people not being able to pronunciate an actual location, and then it became the thing. So it's like, come on, let's be real.
Oh, is it like for people that couldn't pronounce like Niger or something?
Yes, it's exactly because when you look at the bill of lading where they came from, they couldn't say that, so then they said the other thing, and it became that thing, and then all of them, regardless of where they were from, became that. Okay, it's a horrible generalization. What are the silicon-based life forms?
It makes sense. But I didn't know that.
S1 or TNG or the nanites that Wesley lost control of. Okay, yeah.
First of
off,
all,
we're nitpicking.
silicon-based life was found in TOS. Thank you very much. The devil. In
Can we just answer the question?
What about it?
Regardless of origin story, can we answer the question?
So, well, bring it back up because
are they life forms? What about those silicon-based life forms they found? Hold on, he didn't say that they didn't find them in TOS. He's asking about the ones they found in TNG, or the nanites that Wesley lost control of.
So the nanites that Wesley lost control of were not sentient. Any kind of truly, purely synthetic device is not, unless it's a clone of some kind or some kind of,
Eric, now, I guess in Trek you just have to suspend disbelief.
I will make one argument. I will make one argument for potential artificial sentient being on TNG. Moriarty. But that's because Moriarty may have been. We don't really know because the way that the holodecks work in TNG is kind of bounces back and forth between how much of it is just holograms and how much of it is real. If Moriarty was a real generated human,
I didn't know that.
Then he could have been sentient. However, if he's just photons, then no, he's not. Just like the Doctor from Voyager, he's just a program.
I think he was photons. Honestly, I think he was the result of everyone's like, well, the computer made him sentient. No, it didn't. Data never finished. He never finished the program.
Made him intelligent. It didn't.
Yeah, had he finished the program, it would have ended.
Right.
Had he actually finished the same nonsense they just did in Strange New Worlds, had he simply the problem is that intelligent Moriarty,
when she solved the problem, Spock said, "Congratulations, the game is over."
Intelligent Moriarty just happened to not let them finish the game because it determined certain things. Yeah. So all you had to do, Data, was finish the game, and then everything would have been back to normal.
And so to answer Victor's question,
yes,
is it time for a full Trek reboot? No. What it's time to do is to simply say that Trek has been rebooted.
Yes, I agree with. Okay, yeah, I'll go with that. That's a semantic argument, but I think he's right. It's valid. It's
not time to reboot Trek now. It's time to simply say we're in a reboot.
Yeah. Well, and judging by a lot of the things, because I take literally everything I hear from Midnight's whatever the heck with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But then I start doing. But then I dig deeper into my own stuff because he mischaracterizes events a lot often. And one of the things that he talks about was the fact that that Kurtzman essentially Kurtzman's pitching hard to try to keep and maintain some level of control, and that ultimately the only reason we're getting Academy is whatnot is to Skydance. No, but Kurtzman for Skydance because his company.
Kurtzman wants to keep his job with Skydance.
Correct. His studio, whatever that's happy, whatever the hell. Yeah. And so this whole idea that they're trying to stop it from moving, because my thing is, give us legacy. If people want a soft entry point, give everybody legacy, and then meanwhile continue developing this reboot and let it roll over. And this could literally be a giant snake that eats its own tail.
That's where I would disagree with you.
Why?
I would say one or the other. Even though I'm not a fan of the legacy concept, I would say you could do a legacy thing and continue Trek post Picard, or you can continue with the reboot. I'm going
to tell you this. Strange New Worlds is the first series that has made me forget that I want that. So, for instance, I told you I loved the Orville, and please don't get into that conversation right now. I loved the Orville because I missed TNG and missed that kind of Star Trek. So, Strange New Worlds made me forget that I missed that. Strange New Worlds is giving me the Star Trek fix that I wanted, and to me, that makes it as valid as regular Star Trek as possible.
And the only problem I have really with Strange New Worlds right now is the fact that we're getting 10 episode seasons. I hate that.
Victor says, just hearing all the lore slathered into every frame of every last second, it's exhausting, and I'm an old nerd. I feel you. I do feel that.
That's just a modern writing thing, though. I mean, I'm not a big fan of that either, but
truthfully, it's for you. It's for Salty. It's for you. Because I'm okay with moving forward and not necessarily latching so hard onto lore. I like the things I see that are very lore-esque, but I don't need them. I mean, once I wrap my head around what Discovery was supposed to be, not Academy I think looks atrocious, but I feel like I was able to sit here and go, okay, I'm down. And the same thing with this stuff. I feel like Strange New Worlds again has made me forget that I ever wanted to go continue the lore past Next Generation's era.
Right.
You know, and I'm okay with that. Show me this new version of this thing and let's move forward from here. I'm down.
And by the way, and again, yeah, I know Starfleet Academy looks terrible. We don't need
Arabic. You mean the Salat? Yeah, totally. No, I love that.
So we don't need 17 Star Trek series. What we need is,
I agree.
And they keep trying to say, oh, we're going to do Academy, we're going to be Tawny Newsom's show, we're going to do this, so we're going to do that, and we're going to make another movie, and we're going to do this. No, if develop Strange New Worlds and then into the Kirk era, but give us 30 episodes a year, and that's all we need. We don't need to have other shows because that's the problem. You're trying to. You're especially when these shows all take place in different times.
Victor says it's 60 years of holding on to lore that does not hold together without 7 million rolls of lore duct tape. God, I wish you were here tonight.
Lore duct tape is definitely a thing because
it totally is.
I mean, you could ask almost any question in Trek and get contradictory answers if you look for it. Like
with citations,
you beam through the shields?
Yeah, under special circumstances, yeah.
Yeah. No special circumstances. You just can sometimes and you can't others. Here's a good one. Can you fire your weapons through shields?
I thought you could.
Yeah, unless you happen to be watching Taste of Armageddon. In which case,
unless the plot requires it.
Yeah, phaser. In Taste of Armageddon, we find out you cannot fire phasers with the shields up, but you can fire torpedoes.
Look, my thing is this. I feel like everything has its thing. If we're gonna, no matter what they're gonna do with Star Trek, can we just stick to a single set of uniform designs for more than a season?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If we're gonna do Strange New Worlds morphing into whatever the Kirk show is, assuming there's a Kirk show. At the same time, we have a show that takes place in the 32nd century Starfleet Academy. And at the same time, we're going to get a post-Picard legacy series.
Which I don't think
our normies are going to be like, wait, what is Star Trek? I don't understand. Because there's nothing.
This is the epitome of what Victor's talking about. I think it's just becomes this thing where you're like, hold on, because now at that point you subdivided the audience. You have the newer people watching whatever the future is, and you have those of us who are holding on to the past watching Strange New Worlds, and then you got the real folks who are holding on to the past watching Legacy and are just like, give me all the people I see in conventions, make them relevant again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, come on, guys, really?
And there's been talk about a Star Trek Archer series and stuff like that, which
I don't want so badly.
I would watch it in a heartbeat, but at the same time, I think it's going to be more confusion for the normies. And if you ever want Star Trek to be successful, you've got to make it accessible to the normies.
Make Star Trek accessible again.
Yeah. I mean, Star Trek, the original series, was something that anybody could watch and kind of get it. Okay, they're on a spaceship. They're the space police or space navy.
Oh my god! This is the problem. Okay, it's all just Elseworlds under the Star Trek banner. That's been my problem with every Star Trek video game. Why does every Star Trek video game have to lean into all? It's like, well, to make it interesting, you have to. I'm sorry, I was one of those nerds who played the original MS-DOS Star Trek game, where you literally just went from planet to planet exploring. I had once in a while you ran into the Klingons. When you
I'm sorry. Can I revoke your nerd card for a minute?
Bro,
I played the hold on.
Go ahead.
I played the original machine language Star Trek game.
I heard about this. I've heard about
in which all you were was the letter E for Enterprise, and you would have K's for Klingons, and you would literally have to do math to figure out how much power you wanted to divert to the phasers, to the shields, and if you want to fire a torpedo, the exact trajectory of the torpedo. And then the mainframe would clickety-clack for a couple of minutes and tell you the results and update it.
And then it was like, please insert disc 2.
Yeah, no disc. What are you talking? We loaded it with punch tape, buddy.
I love you.
It is literally. It took hours to load the program.
Hold on. I feel the 2000s and the 2010s were the era of legacy sequels. It was fun to loop back into the 40 years of lore, but we've had 15 years of that, and most of it was fun, but now it's done. That's a fair assessment. Thank you, Victor, for that. I do agree with that. I think it's about time, and we're kind of, it's funny, that's being really met out in our culture right now. You notice indie movies are doing phenomenally better overall than a lot of the big sequels that we've been continually getting. Though, yes, they're making big money, they're not making the kind of money they used to. Right. But whereas a lot of the indie horror movies, indie adventure movies, indie sci-fi movies, these are all picking up. Rom-coms again. It's like it's ridiculous comedies with Naked Gun and whatnot. So I believe you're right.
Is Naked Gun done okay at the box office? I haven't paid attention.
Yeah, for what it was, yeah, it's made.
Well, it's a comedy, so it's got a lower budget and everything.
Sure. Oh yeah.
But I will say this, I also think that the fans are and the studio execs are two very different breeds of people.
They really
and
are.
So you have fans that are screaming and hollering and clamoring that, oh my gosh, Fantastic Four is an utter failure because it's going to barely make $500 million, right?
Yeah.
And it's like $500 million is an extremely successful film. Now, is it going to be profitable? Maybe, maybe not. We don't know the whole, because we never, everybody says, oh, they had a $200 million budget. Show me where Disney said that. Show me any kind of confirmed that, because you know what that is? That's what people estimate the budget is.
Well, because it's a matter of public record when they submit certain information.
But the problem,
that's kind of where they get a lot of it from. But you're right; that's not always never specific.
And the thing is that a lot of that money is very fluid because they'll throw out. Oh, this is $200 million, but 70 million of that is actually going to something else.
Not to mention that you forget that take 30% of that whole budget off because they have everybody has a contingency. Yeah. So a lot of that again, those are reported budgets, but it's not the final production budget. Right. Truthfully, you don't know what the final production budget is until well after the movie has full-blown been released.
If they ever say it.
And also, Victor's right. Marvel doesn't push back on those numbers. You're right. They don't.
Yeah. But the thing is that, so $500 million is not a bad, Marvel this year has had 3 movies that have all had solid box office, especially if you consider, like, I know people poo-poo on Captain America, but Captain America was released in February. That is not a good slot for movies. And it still did respectable numbers. And it went up against one of the most innovative movies of the year was Sinners. So you had,
which arguably was a pitch that was given to Marvel, and they didn't take it.
Right. Well, it was a Blade pitch. In fact, the costumes were Blade costumes.
I know. I couldn't believe it. I found that out. Get out.
But the thing is that if you look at Captain America, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four for their 2025 showings, are they billion-dollar movies? No, but none of them were really meant to be. 2 of these were origin stories for the New Avengers and the Fantastic Four. So they weren't expecting big. You know what? They did not get big. The only origin movie they got really big numbers out of was Captain Marvel, and that's only because she was sandwiched between the Avengers Endgame and Infinity War.
Yeah, and literally they end in Infinity War with her symbol being the thing that Nick Fury's like, oh no, she's going.
So everybody thought it was going to be a big tie-in, even though it wasn't.
It really wasn't.
Yeah, but which I think it would have been a better movie if it was, honestly, if they had actually had it take place in that time, like she had gotten the signal and now she needs to get back to Earth to find out, and meanwhile everybody's disappearing and what's going on. But other than Captain Marvel, and like I said, that was a fluke because of the time it was released. The origin, and Black Panther as well, but Black Panther was also the first big budget black superhero movie that was a black film, done on this
Marvel
level.
It was a gamble.
And it was a big gamble. But that was another one that, because the reason you got the huge turnout is because the black audience showed up in spades for that movie.
No pun intended.
Yeah. Well, that's horrible. But I'm just saying. So, but then you look at the first Thor.
It's perception. These tent poles can't seem to be half as popular them as the typical successful movie. It looks like a failure. I agree. Well, especially the thing is, I don't know who in their right mind wants to keep trying to compare it to, Endgame did this and that. Endgame should never enter anybody's mouth ever. Neither should Infinity War. Those were unique, flash in the pan, cultural moments that will never be repeated. And it's like you can't compare those things. Now you compare them apples to oranges with the movies themselves, sure. The thing is, how crazy is it that these movies have been around long enough that we actually can have a discussion about the adjusted for inflation? Like, that's how long these things have been going on.
Right.
We can go to Captain America and go to Iron Man and say adjusted for inflation. Like,
Iron Man was like what, 2008, I think.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, man.
But you look at so next year is a different conversation, because next year we have a Spider-Man film and an Avengers film. Yeah. Now, if those movies make 400 to 500 million, then they've got a problem. Because Spider-Man's going to
do amazing. Spider-Man's worldwide a phenomenon.
But Spider-Man has been a $1 billion film over and over and over for Marvel. And
even their last one.
And so have the Avengers movies. So if we see flops for Spider-Man and Avengers, then fine, the fandom was right about that. But as far as these movies that we're seeing this year not being a $1 billion box office, to me is a big old much ado about nothing, because the first Fantastic Four movie was not going to be a $1 billion movie. However, the nice thing is they actually did the Fantastic Four right.
Yeah, Supergirl is absolutely going to be that's going to be out there next year. It's going to also be there.
Now,
by the way, did you hear what that particular movie filmmaker said about that? He was told by James Gunn, each of these movies is like a graphic novel. Make it your own flavor, make it your own whatever. It doesn't have to feel like they're not trying to make a DC Comics feeling movie.
Right.
So, and I'm like, they just want to make a good movie. It doesn't. Not everything has to be hyper stylized.
I'll see how it looks when we see it. But
Aravic, it is absolutely going to be the same Spider-Man. It's Tom Holland.
Yeah, it's Tom Holland in the spandex costume that we saw him in,
looking amazing.
Yeah, so the actual comic book costume, and he's dealing with the fact that nobody knows who he is. So it'll be interesting.
For everyone complaining about MCU films, how long would people have complained for more if it ended with Endgame? Hang on. That's usually the condition you want. You want people asking for more.
Right.
The problem is we got to Endgame and then they hit the hyperdrive and gave us a million unrelated things that ultimately went nowhere and were very unsatisfying as a unit. So...
but I would say this is that the big problem is Feige and company did not have a clear vision for what to do post Endgame when Endgame came out.
Hey, Dork Knight self-promoting, and that's a good thing. It's very cool talking about Patron. He literally just posted his review of Criticless. We support Dork Knight. He's one of ours. We absolutely, bro. Yeah, go check him out on Criticless. The links to our Criticlists are there as well in the description. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So if when we look at these movies, like Iron Man, the first one did really, I think it was like 700 million or something. But Hulk only made like 300 million. And so
Stan, you can't ask if you liked it or not. We got to go read the review. Otherwise, what's the point, man?
Well, you could just go to the review right now.
Yeah, don't spoil it here. We're gonna take his review and put it on Nerd Fights. Don't go anywhere, kids. I love it. Victor DiGiovanni says pandemic, Chadwick Boseman, Jonathan Majors, all those things derailed momentum from Endgame. I would argue, as well as a slew of series that had no direct relationship. Versus, if you notice, Loki did well, WandaVision did well. I would argue Hawkeye did relatively speaking decent, because those were things that felt like they were the aftermath. And after Endgame, we wanted to see the aftermath. We wanted to see what happened afterwards, not start jumping all over the place, introducing new crazy characters that had nothing to do with this. Now the smart thing would have been roll the stuff out of those aftermaths, roll those things out from those moments, recast Chadwick Boseman all day. Stop with this nonsense.
Yeah, that was the
biggest being a sacred cow was the dumbest thing ever. You recast him, have everybody have all the same characters acknowledging that's T'Challa, and you move forward. That would have been honoring to the character Chadwick Boseman created. And I feel like you're right. Because now Wakanda Forever has a whole different vibe and feel than it was originally intended to. It became a eulogy, and it's like that's stupid.
So, Dark Knight gave I won't say what the score was, but I would say as far as his Fantastic Four score, I thought it was a good score. I mean, not the exact score I would have given it, but I think he gave it a fair score.
Go for it. Not the score. What he said.
He gave it a 90.
But highlight it. What did he say? He kind of go through it.
Let's see. IMAX, me, my girlfriend.
Don't do a voice. Be nice.
What?
You're like, let me see. You're like, let me see what he had to say.
Oh, you want me to try to do like Dark Knight's voice?
No, don't do his voice. No, I can't even do his voice, and I do voices. So.
Opening night, IMAX. No, my girlfriend MJ, and the theater packed with fans, buzzing before the lights even dimmed.
This is how he writes reviews. He doesn't write reviews. He writes stories.
Will you stop busting his chops even for 5 minutes and read the review?
So language, he said none. Political bias, none. Violence,
none. But okay, I'm with you.
Yeah, I would not say none. I would say it was slightly left.
I was going to say if they're not saying this is the socialist wet dream, I don't know what it is.
Right. You said violence a bit.
Of course. I mean, it's comic books. Everyone's fighting. Yeah. I got you. I get that.
Family friendly. You put 100%.
I don't think baby.
I wouldn't put 100% because I would say Galactus was genuinely terrifying.
It's a literal family movie about a family.
Yeah,
they have dinner every night at 7. That you telling me that's not a family?
I'm not saying it's not family friendly. I'm saying that if you took little kids to see Galactus, they would have nightmares about Galactus coming to eat their planet.
Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? My dog's eating cat poop. Stop it. Go.
Well, because he's a dog. Dogs are disgusting.
They are really gross.
Nudity, sexual content, you said none. I would say,
I don't know, man. That Silver Surfer's awfully naked.
Yeah, I would say a little bit because, not only was Silver Surfer left very little to the imagination, but Johnny even called her the naked space chick. So I would say while it's not graphic nudity, you could say it's implied nudity.
Victor says I give Fantastic Four a 3.5 on the Victor scale, which ranges from -5 to +5, with 0 being absolute meh.
I actually thought about doing something like that, like a -10 to +10. But
I can see that.
The way that I would figure it, and this is how I would really honestly, if I can start getting to a point where I can start.
My wife just came out of her office because I text her the dog's eating cat poop. She comes out of her office and goes roar to the dog, and he runs up the stairs.
I would say so. The way I wanted to do a movie scale. And I think this would be a fun thing to do, but I would need to find something.
Whatever. You've already got the most complicated one that somehow still crazily makes sense. You don't get to.
Well, yeah, but that's for that. But
that's the what is it? The subjective, objective,
the objective, subjective film quotient. Yes. But this would be. But the idea would be that a film, because there are films that are so bad they're good, right?
Oh, sure.
Okay, yeah. So and I'm not saying it's a true 10 out of 10 because I don't think there is such a thing as a 10 out of a 10 movie right now. But there hasn't.
I don't know. According to film snooties, Citizen Kane is the end all be all.
Anything where like the main characters smell their own farts is a 10 out of 10. Anyway,
I watched Citizen Kane. I'm gonna tell you right now, I think it's awful.
Citizen Kane.
I don't like it at all.
I think Citizen Kane is an absolute crap movie. Now,
I get why everybody wants to be hoity-toity about it. It's not good.
They want to be hoity-toity because they invented so many.
I'm going to go on Criticless right now and review it. It's not good.
Well, they call Citizen Kane awesome because of the fact that he invented so many techniques that we still use today.
That's true.
It's not because, but the story of Citizen Kane is absolute garbage, especially considering.
Oh, wow. Victor says Endgame was the only film that ever got a 10 on the Victor scale.
So we'll go with Endgame. then okay. So let's say Endgame is a 10 out of 10, right? So
okay. So here's my argument to that. It might be, but it isn't a 10 out of 10 if you only count it. If you were to show that movie to anybody by itself, none of the things that make
I get it. I'm just trying to.
Okay.
I'm just trying to make a point here. So
fair.
And I wouldn't even say Endgame. I would say Infinity War more than Endgame is a 10 out of 10 movie. I think Endgame had a couple of glaring flaws, like the all-girl power hour scene was stupid.
Stop it.
But anyway, but Infinity War 10 out of 10, Fantastic Four 9.5 or whatever out of 10. Right? You got the stuff really high on the scale. Then you got stuff that is just really bad, right? And these movies would be movies like, say, The Last Jedi gets like a 2 or a 3 out of 10, right? It's because you got to give it some props for the quality filmmaking, but it's such garbage that you want to puke the whole time you're watching it. Now, what about a movie like Plan 9 from Outer Space or The Room? And you're like looking, huh? Like you haven't seen either.
No. I've seen the first one. I haven't seen the second one, but go on.
Okay. So these movies are insanely entertaining, but they're not entertaining because they're good in any way, shape, or form. Plan 9 from Outer Space and The Room are both absolute cinematic disasters, but they're so bad that you are rolling on the floor laughing watching these movies because they're just so, like Plan 9 from Outer Space is one of the most quotable movies ever, because like, the future is where you and I are going to spend the rest of our lives. I mean, lines like that are just gold, right? So, and we're going to talk about the future and then what happened on that fateful day. Wait, what happened? Past tense? In the future? Huh? Okay. One of my favorite lines in the movie is, "You'll be up there, but and the flying saucer's up there, and you'll be over there, but I'll be locked up in there. So you go off to your wild blue yonder." Actual dialogue. Written on a script, So you look at these movies that are so ridiculously bad. And so Plan 9 from Outer Space, a -10. Because it's really, really bad, but it's really entertaining. And then a movie that's just bad, but kind of funny, like say Mortal Kombat, the first one, you might give it a -7. You see, it's not a good movie, but it's fun to watch.
Hold on a second. God, he made me watch both those movies.
I did, yeah.
And now we see the PTSD that led to this poor man.
Yes, but yeah, those two movies are such classics.
I do, sir. I thank God for that. I thank God very much for that, and I won't let him suck me into that kind of nonsense.
Oh, you need to watch The Room.
No, not happening.
Yeah, we are going to watch The Room.
I've already seen the first one. I'm not seeing the second. I'm not doing that.
What do you mean the second one?
I'm not seeing the first movie you mentioned originally when you talked about the
Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Yeah, that I've seen, but I've not seen the second one, and I'm not watching that. It doesn't sound at all.
I did not hit her. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Nice.
That's The Room is so good. So those would be -10. Those would be like so horrifically bad that they're fun to watch. I mean, like, there's got to be a movie that you think of, like when I say so bad it's good, or are you just like ignoring me now? And
no, I'm thinking now. You got me thinking. What is a movie that's so bad it's good? Oh, shockingly, what's that movie with the Stupids? I kind of dug that.
The Stupids.
Yeah, with what's his name? With Roseanne's old husband, Tom Arnold. He's in it. It's actually pretty. I loved that movie. I watched that movie a lot when I used to work at a video store. I brought that home a ton. That movie was hilarious, and I recently watched it again, and it kind of held up for me.
And it's called The Stupids?
Yeah, but it's spelled. I think it's spelled STO. It's based on a children's book,
Okay.
and it's Tom Arnold and all them. It's
Big Trouble in Little China is a great one.
Big Trouble in Little China is amazing.
It's a bad movie.
What are you talking about? You're fired. Oh my god. What are you talking about? That
Truck
movie is
driver
schlock-
goes to
It is
Chinatown.
schlock kung fu superhero movie before we ever had schlock kung fu superhero movies.
Yes, but
Like,
schlock being
and not just that, it did the Asian superhero characters so perfectly. Like they felt like they walked right off of Hong Kong cinema in terms of the characters they were. And dude was as, oh my god, I'm an American stuck. Where am I? And I thought it was so good.
except that he was kicking butt. By the end.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But he should have.
Because it's America's made by us. Come on, made by us. Of course it's gonna be. I don't care if you're Raiden throwing lightning at your hands. It's
Speaking
Oh my
of
god, yeah, the schlock was the main hero with a mullet. Yeah, totally. Legit.
Speaking of Raiden throwing lightning with his bare hands, so
It was the basis for Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
what did you? Well, Raiden has been in Japanese lore for centuries, so that's
The Thing, by the way, I thought The Thing was brilliant.
but the thing from another world, not so much. Have you seen it?
No, I've heard of it though.
You've never seen the thing from another world?
No. I thought The Thing.
Yeah, but the thing was
By the way, The Stupids was in 1996. It had Tom Arnold, Jessica Lundy, Bug Hale, Alex McKenna, Mark Metcalf, David Cronenberg. It had what's his face. It had what's his name from Discovery. That's crazy.
Agent Daniels.
Yeah, man, and all kinds of people. But anyways, it was ridiculously wonderful in my opinion.
So the man,
By the way, it has a terrible rating on IMDb. It's like 4.3 out of 10 on IMDb. So it's not
okay.
good.
Here's a bad movie that I love.
You don't like the Carpenter?
What do you mean? I like the Carpenter thing.
Okay.
I was mentioning a thing from another world because I was wondering if Mr. Know-It-All had seen it. But Mr. Know-It-All, not being the know-it-all he claims to be, hasn't seen it.
No, I claim to be a know-it-all because I want to know it all as well. So I'd be willing to look up that one.
Yeah.
The Thing
Here's a
from-
movie that I absolutely love that is a bad movie. Battle Beyond the Stars.
Battle Beyond the Stars is brilliant for many reasons, but yes, it is terrible.
It's a bad movie that's way better than it should be.
And the fact that like they put so much, what got me into watching it was I saw it was something about what's his face about was it James Cameron or who was it that did
James Cameron was a set designer,
right? So it was about him, and it went into
Horner
this.
did the soundtrack.
It went into this whole short piece during the movie I watched, the documentary about him, and it went into this whole thing, and I was like, this looks brilliant. And so I literally was like, I have to see what this is. And
Cameron and Horner were both trying to get their start in Hollywood. And so they started on a schlocky, low-budget film.
Oh, I love Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Oh, that's horrible.
I like the one we watched in Portland, the one that said yesterday, inferring it happened like just the day before. That's awesome.
I'm trying to remember what movie he's talking about. I don't know.
Nothing's as bad as the Ice Cube War of the Worlds. Yeah, nothing.
I have not seen it. Is it?
No, it's horrible. I watched I got through 10. Everybody was doing reviews, and I was going to do a review, and I got through 10 minutes of it, and I was like, I can't do this.
I will tell you, the new
It's so
Toxic
bad.
Avenger movie, I will not be watching.
I have no interest in it.
Yeah,
I don't have any interest.
mean,
by the way, has nothing to do with what's his face. It just doesn't. It's
not a
losing.
slight on Peter Dinklage, although, obviously making the Toxic Avenger a dwarf is just a gimmick.
It really is.
Yeah, something about Attack.
Planet 9 or something. I forgot it actually was analyzed in my film class. Forgot the name now.
Are you talking about
Alien
Planet
and-
Outer Space? We were talking.
Yeah,
about
we just talked about that. Yeah, we just talked about that.
Yes, we were just talking about that.
There's Stanley just wondering how bad they're going to mess it up.
How about they're going to mess what?
The Toxic Avenger.
Oh, it's going to be bad. Although I did see
Last Starfighter was not in a post Star Wars world. Last Starfighter was brilliant.
it
That's
was a
like
bad
that
movie,
one.
though.
That's like that one I saw with Quaid, Randy Quaid, Dennis Quaid or whatever, where it's like
Inner Space?
Bro, no, with an alien? No, where they were like in he meets this reptilian alien creature. He's an
Oh,
astronaut.
Enemy Mine.
I saw that on HBO for the first time. I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
It was not bad
because it was a low budget. It was a low budget throwaway kind of movie.
The Last Starfighter was actually pretty game changing. The way they did it, the graphics, everything. I agree. I loved it. I
believe The Last Starfighter is the first movie to do all digital effects, because a lot of people think Tron did, but they didn't. Most of the effects that you see on Tron were actually reflective suits and hand-drawn animation.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that it's all computer generated. No, a few things were, but like the light cycles were, but but a lot of it was not. But yeah, let's see, what was it? But the thing about The Last Starfighter is that it certainly has not aged well. I mean, you try to watch it now, and it's laughable.
I've watched it many times. I watched it like very recently. It's good.
It looks like a PlayStation 1 game.
I have no offense, but the story transcends that. See, by the way, that's the problem with a lot of these things. What are you talking about? It's a wonderfully classic, cool. It's the hero's journey. This kid discovers that he's the one that can save the universe. It's the setup from the video game, and it's like I thought they did a wonderful job encapsulating that story.
I'm not saying it's all bad. I'm just saying that I think there's a.
By the way, it's okay. You don't have to agree with me. I'm just letting you know that I thought that movie.
No, I think that the one thing I really did like was that they implied that this.
Keep your mouth shut or tell your mom about your Playboys.
My favorite thing that that was a good line. I remember that.
It was totally.
But that the guy that recruited him, that they implied that he was the reason for King Arthur.
Oh my God! Yeah, totally.
They're like, this isn't another one of those sword in the stone things, is it? He goes, no, it's nothing like that. He really showed skill. And it's like, you got to wonder. So did some guy named Arthur get whizzed off to outer space and end up dying a horrible death because he didn't know how to fly a spaceship?
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, there are elements of that movie. In fact, that movie, if you did a remastered version where you did all the visual effects in using modern CG tech, I think that would be pretty cool. But I wouldn't mind seeing a remake of The Last Starfighter. Have you guys seen The Witch, about the evil goat?
The Vivitch?
Yeah, if you're talking about the Vivitch, I have seen that one. I mean, I know
it's W, but the two V's. That's why I joke and call it Vivitch. Yeah, I have seen that.
Kind of like Fan Four Stick, but I mean,
right. I've seen that one. Yeah, I have seen that.
I assume that's the movie you're talking about, which had a weird ending. Honestly, not
a weird ending. It totally had a weird ending.
But yeah, it's like, oh, okay. So the big resolution is naked people dancing in the woods. The end. Okay. What?
I'm now officially on record as saying that Citizen Kane is heinous on Criticless. So